what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So welcome to another episode of Nick Strength and Vlogs. Thank you guys for coming over here and subscribing. Make sure you like these videos because this channel is not monetized, so we're depending entirely on people coming over just to watch these vlogs that want to see more bonus content. That's what this channel is going to be. Bonus content, just reaction videos, no voiceovers, just my honest reactions to things, and of course vlogs on this channel as well. But in today's video, I want to talk about meeting Wesley Vissers, and specifically the conversation that Wesley and I had about whether or not Wesley's physique is going to be considered classic by the classic physique judges based on his placing at the 2019 Arnold Classic. So for those of you that don't know, Wesley did place 10th at the 2019 Arnold Classic, and many people feel that he was overlooked, including Wesley. Now Wesley is starting to feel like, he feels like his physique is classic. He feels like he has a classic look. He feels like everything went as planned for that prep for the Arnold Classic. He feels like he looked exactly how he wanted to look, and he didn't feel like he was off in any way, shape, or form. Now his argument is that maybe the judges simply don't think his physique is classic, or the judges simply don't know what they're looking for out of the classic physique division. Now, the argument really is Wesley's physique classic? In my opinion, it is. But my opinion might not necessarily be the same opinion as the classic physique judges. So the conversation really comes down to, what do those judges consider to be classic? Now you had George Peterson winning the 2019 Arnold Classic, and in my opinion, George is not as classic as Steve Lorius. George is not as classic as Wesley Vissers, but George still won the show despite not being able to hit a vacuum pose when Arnold asked him to at the finals there. So I think I actually pissed some people off with the videos that I made about George Peterson winning this show, because I think a lot of people think because I'm with Redcon, I should always stand by the Redcon athletes, and George Peterson is a Redcon 1 athlete, and I kind of disagreed with him winning the show, and I disagreed with him being as classic as some of the other guys in this lineup, because I think he's a shorter guy. He's a very muscular guy. He's a very good bodybuilder, and I mean bodybuilder. In terms of muscle groups, overall muscle mass, conditioning, he's a fantastic bodybuilder. But the question is this a bodybuilding competition, or is this a classic physique competition? Because in my opinion, George Peterson looks much more like a bodybuilder, like a 212 guy, than a classic guy. Short guy, tons of muscle. He's aesthetic with that muscle. I mean, he's a good poser. He's able to showcase that muscle in an aesthetic, classic way. But in many cases, I don't think he's as aesthetic as some of the other guys in this lineup. And this is what me and Wesley discussed in the clip that you're going to see at the end of this video. I'm going to show you guys two separate clips. I filmed one on my iPhone and I filmed another on the actual camera. I think one is longer than the other, so you can kind of hear more of the conversation in one of them. But this is the grievance that Wesley kind of had, is, maybe even though I think my physique's classic, even though you think my physique's classic, even though a lot of the fans of the division think that my physique is classic, it appears that the judges' criteria for what is classic doesn't fit my physique. So that's the conversation that we need to have going forward, and we'll probably have this conversation again on my main channel, is what are the judges in classic physique looking for? What are they defining as classic? Because it seems that the fans and the judges have a very different idea of what classic actually means. So I want to know what you guys think in the comment section of this video. Do you think Wesley Vissers has a classic physique? Why do you think Wesley took 10th place at the Arnold Classic, took 16th place, actually a tie for last at the Olympia? Do you think it's conditioning? Do you think it's his legs? Do you think he's just not classic enough for this division? What do you think the problem is with Wesley Vissers in the classic lineup? Do you think it's a problem with his physique, or do you think it's a problem with the judging? So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Again, make sure you thumbs up this video. It really helps out a lot because we're not making any money off this channel. So it's entirely just for you guys that want this bonus content. And without further ado, here's the conversation that I had with Wesley Vissers at the Arnold Classic as I was leaving to go to the parking garage. That's why I had my hood on, because it was very windy and cold in Columbus, Ohio in early March. So here's the video.
Conditioning improved that you set yourself.
You were better than the Olympia.
Yeah, for sure, better than the Olympia. Yeah. So the legs were better, in volume a little bit as well. Everything I could have worked on from the Olympia, I did. But still, they didn't choose me for the top 6. So
you were 10th, right?
I was 10. Yeah, 10th.
That's a little
so I was number 10 out of the 17 guys. So that tells me that they are not seeing something in my physique that they want to see. So it's a classic physique class, but obviously they don't want to see the classic physique. So I'm then wondering, what do I need to do?
Did you talk to the judges after?
Not yet. I still want to do that. I want to get their feedback for what I can improve, of course. But in my opinion, like it's the top 4 guys are all quite similar. Right. They're darker guys. They're shorter than me. So I'm like the odd one out.
Yeah, there seems to be a certain look they're going for.
Yeah.
Shorter, more muscular guys.
Yeah. And that's exactly the opposite of what you saw back in the day.
Yeah.
Of course, the conditioning must be better. There must be better proportions. The legs must be better, of course, and that's what I also worked on. But even then, I still think, in my opinion, like I'm not trying to be objective, that I should have placed better than number 10 out of the 17.
I thought 10th was kind of an insult.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Right when I went backstage, they said I was overlooked.
I think so too.
A lot of the photographers who work with these athletes for 10 decades, years, they told me like, I want to shoot with you because you have that classic physique, but at the same time I'm overlooked by the judges. So I hear from the crowd that they like what I bring to the table, but from the judges they have the opposite opinion. That's the weird thing about it.
What do you think about George beating Steve?
That's an interesting one as well, because George is of course very conditioned, he has a great back, so he's a great bodybuilder overall. And at the same time, when I watch the comments, I always read those comments, of course.
Which one is more classic?
Yeah, George Peterson is not as classic as...
I mean, I love George, he's a Redcon guy.
Yeah, of course.
He looks more like a 212 guy.
He should be a 212 guy, in my opinion, but they keep letting him win, so why would he change, right? The judges tell him he's number 1. So he was, of course, the most conditioned guy, the best back on stage, but when you say, okay, what show could I win if I'm the most conditioned with the biggest back? You wouldn't say classic physique. You would say with a small waist, with a vacuum, with classical lines, like Steve Laurie's did have. So
he looked really good,
in my opinion, they should have him placed higher to show everyone, okay, we are going for the classic look, but they still didn't do that. So I'm not sure then, like, it's still unclear for me, and I think for a lot of people then, what do they think classic really is?
I still don't think they know that.
I don't either. Hey man, what's up?
Yeah, I think you look really good. I thought 10th was kind of an insult.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Right when I went backstage, they said I was overlooked.
I think so too.
A lot of the photographers who work with these athletes for 10 decades, years, they told me like, I want to shoot with you because you have that classic physique, but at the same time I'm overlooked by the judges. So I hear from the crowd that they like what I bring to the table, but from the judges they have the opposite opinion. And that's the weird thing about it.
Well, what do you think about George beating Steve?
That's an interesting one as well, because George is of course very conditioned, he has a great back, so he's a great bodybuilder overall. And at the same time, when I watch the comments, I always read those comments, of course.
Which one is more classic then?
Yeah, George Peterson is not as classic as...
I mean, I love George, he's a Redcon guy, but
of course.
He looks more like a 212 guy.
He should be a 212 guy, in my opinion, but they keep letting him win, so why would he change, right? The judges tell him he's number 1. So he was, of course, the most conditioned guy, the best back on stage, but when you say, okay, what show could I win if I'm the most conditioned with the biggest back? You wouldn't say classic physique. You would say with a small waist, with a vacuum, with classical lines, like Steve Laurie's did have.
So he looked really good too.
In my opinion, they should have him placed higher to show everyone, okay, we are going for the classic look, but they still didn't do that. So I'm not sure then, like, it's still unclear for me, and I think for a lot of people then, what do they think classic really is?
I still don't think they know that.
I don't either. That's the weird thing. So, but overall, it was a great experience. I was honestly very happy the days before the show and even the show itself, how I looked, how I performed, how I improved myself. And the feedback from everyone on the expo, like the kind of comments I've gotten.
Yeah, you look really good,
that
man.
Means a lot.
You definitely looked improved.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
No problem. It's really good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you
Sorry
too,
about
man.
the placing, though.
Yeah. Next time will be better. But this time I will take a year off, really, to focus on whatever weak points I need to work on, so that I can actually make a difference next time. So that's what I'm doing.
Well, it's good to see you, man. I appreciate it.
Good to see you
Take
too,
care.
man.
Enjoy the expo.